haunted school in Ireland. The mist clung to the field like a heavy veil, twisting and swirling in the wind. It stretched across the wide open space, blanketing the ground in thick layers of white. Above, the sky was dark, brooding grey, the clouds ominously heavy as if they were waiting to burst open at any moment. In the distance, the old school building stood against the horizon, its towering silhouette rising from the earth like a forgotten relic. You felt a shiver creep up your spine as you approached the crumbling structure. The wind howled softly, carrying a chill that made you pull your blazer tighter around your body. The eerie silence of the surrounding landscape seemed almost unnatural, broken only by the occasional caw of a crow in the distance. You paused for a moment, staring up at the dark windows of the school, each one a hollow, empty eye staring back at you. There was no life in them, just cold, hollow gaze of an abandoned building. The grass underfoot was wet and soft, squelching with each step as you drew closer. Your heart raced, a growing sense of dread building in your chest. But you couldn't stop, something was pulling you forward. Inside the school, the door groaned as you pushed it open, the sound echoing through the empty hall beyond. Dust swirled in the air, caught in the faint beams of light spilling through the cracked windows and flickering bulbs above. The air inside was cold, far colder than it was outside, and smelled faintly of decay and old wood. You took a deep breath, steadying yourself as you stepped inside. The hallway stretched out before you, long and dimly lit, with lockers lining the walls on either side. Their paint was chipped and rusty, the doors slightly ajar as though something had passed through them, but no one was there. You hesitated, listening for a moment. All you could hear was the steady hum of the light bulbs flickering above, but then something else, a faint whisper, so soft you almost missed it. You turned quickly, but there was nothing there, just a long empty hallway behind you. Your pulse quickened, and you gripped the strap of your backpack tighter. The air felt heavier, thicker, as if the building itself was watching you. You forced yourself to move, each step echoing in the silence, growing louder in the empty corridor. At the far end of the hallway, you found a door slightly ajar. Something about it felt different from the others, older, untouched. You pushed it open slowly, and the hinges creaked loudly in protest. The room inside was strange, unlike the rest of the building. It looked preserved, almost frozen in time. The desks were neatly arranged in rows, their surfaces free from dust, as though waiting for students who would never come. The sunlight filtering through the grimy windows cast long, pale shadows across the room, giving everything a faded, ghostly quality. Your eyes fall onto the chalkboard at the front of the room. Something was written there, the chalk still fresh. You step closer, heart pounding in your chest. Your name scrawled across the board in large, jagged letters. Your breath caught in your throat, a cold wave of fear washing over you. How could that be? No one had been here. You hadn't seen another soul since entering the building. Suddenly, the temperature in the room dropped sharply, a chill so deep it cut to your bone. You froze, feeling the hairs on the back of your neck rise, then faintly at first, but growing louder. Laughter, children's laughter, soft and playful, mixed with the sound of whispering. The sound made your skin crawl. You spun around, eyes darting across the room, but there was nothing there. The room was empty, just as it had been when you walked in. Then, something brushed against your neck, a cold breath, light but unmistakable. You gasped, stumbling backwards, your heart hammering in your chest. You felt a presence behind you, close, too close, but you didn't dare turn. Slowly you backed away, trying to keep your breathing steady. As you neared the door, a figure appeared in the hallway, a shadow tall and still. You blinked, heart skipping a beat, but the figure remained. It stood at the edge of the light, its form dark and unmoving. Panic surged through you. Without thinking, you bolted out of the room and down the hallway, your footsteps echoing loudly in the silence, the sound reverberating off the walls as you run. Your lungs burned, your heart pounded, but the fear driving you forward was stronger. You had to get out. You had to escape. The lockers seemed to close in around you, the hallway stretching endlessly ahead. You tried the doors as you ran, each one locked, the handles refusing to budge. Behind you, the soft whispers followed, growing louder, more insistent. Every now and then out the corner of your eye you saw something, a flicker of movement, a shadow darting between the lockers. But when you turned, it was gone. You ran faster, but the air felt thick, like you were moving through water. The lights above flickered wildly, casting strange, distorted shadows that danced across the walls. You reached the final door and threw yourself against it, your hands fumbling for the handle, but it was locked. Breathless, you turned and found yourself back where you started, at the entrance of the school. But something was wrong. The shadow figure you had seen earlier now stood directly between you and the door. Its form was clearer now, darker, more menacing. It didn't move, but you could feel its gaze fixed upon you. The lights flickered once more, plunging you into darkness. You froze, the only sound your ragged breathing. Then, close, too close, a whisper in your ear. Run. Before you could move, the scream tore from your throat, filling the space with a raw, piercing sound. But it was too late. The darkness swallowed you whole. The echo of your scream faded into nothingness.